Hello. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Mr. Hentges. And looking at your responses to some of the questions in Google Classroom, it has come to my attention that you're not understanding what I'm asking you to do. So what I have done is I put together this simple video for you to understand what I'm trying to do. As I've told you, if we have talked, I'm not here to teach you U.S. history. I am here to teach you how to pass the U.S. history STAAR test. Okay? Over the years, I have designed a simple testing strategy that you can use on the STAAR test. The nice thing about the strategy is if you use it, you don't have to know anything about U.S. history. So, please follow along. I'm stopping this every once in a while to ask you some simple questions. I have included a handout that I would like you to fill out. Why? Because when you decide to come back, all right, this handout will help you. For those of you who decide you do not want to return, you can use this handout to answer future questions. All right? So, let us begin. All right. I'm going to teach you how to pass the U.S. history test by using 4 steps with 4 letters. So please follow along and take notes. All right. The 4 letters you need to know to pass the U.S. history STAAR test. T-I-P-S. T stands for time. So when you start going through the STAAR test, I want you to look for times. Times are dates. Okay? December 7th. All right, September 11th. Okay, those are easy. There's some other terms. Eras. All right? Eras is a group of time. We had the Progressive Era. All right? We have the Civil Rights Era. The next word you need to look for is century. Century is a group of 100 years. Now, luckily for you, you only have to know the 19th and the 20th century. If we ever told you, your test starts in 1877 and goes until 2008. That's it. Now, the last time that you have to know is wars. We group our history around war. We got World War I, we got World War II, we got the Cold War. There's a few other wars in there that you're going to need to know. All right. The next letter that you have to know is I. I stands for individuals. Individuals, names. Now, there are a few names that you do need to know. Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, Barack Obama. Okay? Then, along with names, you have to know groups. African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans. But sometimes these groups are not labeled. We have a group called nativists. We're going to learn that term because you already know a nativist right now. Sometimes, now this is a little weird, sometimes individuals are nations. It all depends how it's used. Place is the 3rd letter for P. Places are nations, okay, but they're also areas, regions, All right. We have an area or region in the United States called the Great Plains. Just a big area. Now, there's two words that STAAR uses that you're going to have to know. That's urban and rural. STAAR is very specific on these words. Urban simply means a city. The thing is this, STAAR does not use the word city unless it's referring to New York City, the city of Boston. What they mean by urban is high population. Rural is the opposite, all right? Countryside, or areas of low population. There's the one major thing you have to know about the rural areas. What goes on there? And something does go on there. What goes on there is farming. But STAAR doesn't use farming. STAAR uses the word agriculture. Okay. Now the last letter is probably the most important. S. Single out anything you think is important. Okay? That's one of the most important letters. What is important? What do you think is important? All right.
Okay. Now we've learned 4 letters. Now let's go with the 4 steps. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you something that teachers, especially English teachers, don't want to hear. Okay? Don't read the question. Don't read the stimuli. You start with TIPS and you look at the question. You will take your highlighter and you will highlight any times, any individuals, any places, and single out important items. Okay? Always, always, always start with the question. Then, after you TIPS the question, you do the same thing to your answer choices. You go through answer choice A, time, individuals, places, single out. Then you go through answer choice B. Then you go through answer choice C. And then finally D. Now, step 1 and 2 are fairly simple. Step 3 is you look at the stimuli. Okay? What's a stimuli? Stimuli? That's a stimuli. That's a stimuli. Okay? Now, step 3 is you apply tips to the stimuli. You look for times, individuals, places, and once again, you single things out. Here is a graph. 2 things every graph, chart, and map must have is 1, a title. Without a title, the graph or the map is worthless. The second thing every map and chart must have is a key. A key tells you what is what. Where's the key on this chart? Well, it's right here. There's actually 2 parts, here and here. Each key also has a title. years. All right. Consumer expenditures. Expenditures is a college level word you will occasionally run across. If you don't know it, you can't figure it out because look, what's in parentheses? Dollars. A simple word for expenditures is simply money. But look at the title. Money spent at motion picture theaters. So people, this is the amount of money people spent at theaters. That's simple. That's the key to STAAR. Simpler is better. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and I realize you can't answer it. Why did most students get this question wrong? Yeah, you're not willing to read it, of course. But with my system, you don't have to. Okay? You just look for times, individuals, human population. Okay. Here's another individual, wildlife population, animals. Okay? Places, roads, rails. Remember what I said on the first part of this? Urban and rural. Well, roads and rails are a part of transportation. Here's land. Now comes step, the letter S. All right, what else is important? Well, what about the human population? It's growing. In Flagstaff, by the way, this Flagstaff is a place, it's capitalized. Increase impact, transportation, roads, rails, land use, changes, land changes, urban, rural, development. What is this telling you? More people are moving into the Flagstaff region. And what impact does it have on animals? Now comes step 4. Step 4 is the most important step in the entire thing. EIPS helps a lot, but this is what students forget to do, is step 4, to compare every answer choice to the stimuli. You turn each answer into true, false, or maybe. Let's go through an example. Okay. Now, we've already kind of done this a little bit. That's why I chose this one. Okay. Start with the question. Time, 1946 to 1965. The place, the movies. How do you know that? Because of this word right here, at. All right, there really is no individuals. That's why I kind of skipped over it. Explains, change, money spent. If you highlighted best, that's fine. Okay. Answer choice A. There's no times, but there are individuals. Unemployment. Why do I call that an individual? Is because to be employed is to have a job. In this case, no job. Can animals have a job? Eh? There is no place, and increase. Popularity, television. C, no time, but there's an individual. Population. Where is the place? urban. What else is important? Decrease. And then lastly, resurgence, fundamentalism. Now, some idiot somewhere put it in your head that, hey, if you've never heard of it, it's the right answer. No, wrong, false. If you have never heard of it, it is the incorrect answer. It's that simple. Okay? Now, by comparing and crossing out a wrong answer, even if we have to guess, we're down to a 1 in 3 chance. Instead of a 1 in 4 chance, now we're down to a 1 in 3 chance. Now, what is the whole point of all of these steps and all of these letters? It's a really simple thing, and I'm going to show it to you right now. First thing I ask you to look for is time. Okay? You got here for your time. But you have all of these bar graphs, 1931, 36, 41, 46, 51, all the way up to 1966. Question: do you need all of these bar graphs? Answer: no. Which ones do you need and which ones don't you need? Well, because the question says 1946 to 1965, so therefore, these are the only ones we need. We do not need these, and we do not need that one. So those are the only 4 we need. Now, what is happening in the bar graph? Well, 7.5 billion, 6.25 billion, 5.5 billion, 4.5 billion. They're just going down. It's that simple. But what is going down? The money spent motion picture theaters. That's all it is. So now you need to just compare, is that the money being spent, I'm going to write it really simple. Money spent at theaters is, going down. That's it. Now, would more people not having a job lead to money being spent? Less money being spent. Possibly. Would TV becoming more popular lead to people not spending money at the movies? What do people do with a TV? What's the whole purpose of it? People watch it. So you can either go to the movie theater and spend money on the tickets and spend money on the popcorn and spend money on the Cokes, or you can sit at home and watch it. Decrease in people living in the city. Yes, no, maybe. This answer is false. Why is it false? Because of this one word right here. Urban. Urban simply means cities, areas of high population, as I explained before. Where is this money being spent? It's being spent everywhere. It's being spent in Houston, it's being spent in Baytown, it's being spent in Anahuac, right? Small towns as well as big towns. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have a choice. An increase in unemployment or the popularity of television. Here's where knowing a little bit of history comes in. Where was TV invented? TV was invented in the 40s and then became popular in the 1950s when people began to realize that they did not have to go and spend money in the movie theaters to watch films, to watch the news. It is all brought to them at their house. Think about it this way. How many of you have Sling or Hulu or Netflix? You have to spend money on the internet, but you're no longer watching cable, are you? Ladies and gentlemen, you have just had a brief introduction of what I am trying to accomplish. I hope that you will join me on September 28th for In Class. For those of you who are unable to join me on September 28th, this is what I'm going to ask you to do almost every day. Is you will go through and create tips. The key to passing the STAAR test is not knowing U.S. history. The key to passing the STAAR test is by simple repetition. I can't promise anything. I won't. You have to do it yourself. I have now given you the tools to be able to pass the STAAR test. If you have any questions whatsoever on what I'm trying to do and what you're supposed to do, please contact me. I'm available every day through WebEx. You and I can have a simple one-on-one conversation. Nobody else will know what we're talking about. Nobody will be in my room. And I can explain the purpose of what I am trying to do.